Hello, Namaskar, Satyakal, Vanakkam. Welcome to Keeping It Real by Housing.com, a podcast where we dive deep into the world of real estate, exploring trends, tracking insights, and seeking expert opinion on a variety of matters and issues that are shaping the markets. In this episode, we'll turn the lens on Bengaluru, often described as India's Silicon Valley, and rightly so, for after all, Bengaluru has been the startup tech and innovation hub of the country for several decades, attracting talent and also investment, not just from India, but also from all across the world. But what does it mean for the city's real estate market? How is the influx of startups and tech companies impacting demand for residential and commercial properties? Which areas of the city are seeing the most growth? And what are the key factors driving this trend? These are just a few of the questions we'll be exploring in this episode. If you're a homeowner, investor, or simply someone interested in the world of real estate, this episode is for you. We will be diving into the nitty-gritty of the market, exploring the opportunities and challenges facing buyers and sellers, and examining the trends that will shape the future of Bengaluru's property market. From the hottest micro markets to the impact of ITeS professionals and startups on the rental market, we'll cover it all. So let's get started and explore the fascinating world of Bengaluru's real estate market. To talk about all of these and much more, I have with someone who tracks it like the back of his palm. I have with me Diptakirti Chaudhuri, Chief Marketing Officer, Casagrand. He's been a marketing maven and his journey is a rich tapestry of innovative campaigns. He's also, by the way, an accomplished writer, a film script writer to boot. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for having me.
Dipto, let's start off with a very basic and fundamental question for my own understanding and the understanding of our viewers and listeners. What is driving prices in the Bengaluru property market?
Yeah, as you rightly said, Gaurav, you opened it by saying that Bengaluru has been the hub of IT and startups for a while now. In fact, the IT story of Bengaluru is more than 3 decades old.
Yeah.
So it does not have to be repeated to explain the boom. But what we are seeing is that in the recent last few years, there are certain key things that are changing in the city, in the mindset of the people, which is probably driving the growth a little harder. So for example, metro connectivity after several years of a slowdown is kind of picking up.
Right.
So many areas which were earlier not even under consideration, or if you worked in a certain area, you never considered another area for your residence. Now metro connectivity is allowing that. So that's a change in the cityscape that is happening, where Bangaloreans are more and more Bangaloreans are okay to live on the metro line, so to speak.
Right.
And that's kind of opening up certain geographies in consideration. From a professional point of view, as you were mentioning, that there is a fair bit of investment happening in the Bangalore, being the nerve center of the startup culture. What has changed in the last few years is that whole aspect of ESOP grants and buybacks. Right. So ESOP buybacks by companies, even though there is no buyout per se, buybacks by the founder group or is a thing. So that is suddenly leaving reasonably large sum of money in the hands of employees. And now home is an emotional decision that everybody wants to own a home at some point in time. It is also a logical decision that sometimes for tax benefits, it's better that if you have a lump sum, if you park it in real estate, you get certain benefits. So that I think is the third trend. I mean, the second trend that is bringing in a sort of increasing the demand of real estate in Bangalore. The third thing that I feel it's a social phenomenon, but you have enough anecdotal evidence on social media, which is the bargaining power of landlords.
Okay.
It might make financial sense in the short term to live in a rented apartment, but the terms and conditions that landlords are often putting, the sometimes whimsical terms, whimsical increase in rent, that is making people kind of a little frustrated and saying, I want to get away from all this and, just have my own place where I won't have to be the slave of somebody else's whims and fancies. So these are the things that I feel are driving the thing. In terms of the overall demand, and within a subset of the demand, we see people post-pandemic are looking at bigger spaces. So instead of trying to making do with a 2 BHK, people are preferring to go for a 3 BHK. I mean, when 3 BHK is sufficient, people are trying to see that whether a 3.5 BHK they can afford a 3.5 BHK. So that's also happening, that increase in
this is very interesting
space.
Because what it does say that yesterday's aspirationals have become today's essential so far as the house configuration is concerned. But you did talk about the metro connectivity, and the spread of metro has opened up new areas. So the kind of the outskirt itself has moved on. The perimeter has moved on to a different geography. Which are the new areas that you see emerging in Bengaluru because of the infrastructure creation and also additional demand that has come about for the variety of reasons that you just spoke about?
See, I'll explain it in two different clusters, if I may call it that. See, Bangalore is a paradise. I mean, in terms of the weather, in terms of the employment opportunities it offers, in terms of the social entertainment life that it offers. Everybody wants to live in Bangalore, and you can see that from the burgeoning population. It would probably be one of the fastest growing cities in the world, not only India. The only dampener in this whole thing is traffic. I mean, the Bangalore traffic is a bit of a meme, meme joke, whatever you call it. So there are two things that we are seeing happening. One is that people are wanting to live in a micro market, live and work and play and enjoy and everything.
So they want to take traffic out of the equation.
So they don't want to travel beyond, let's say, at best a couple of kilometers, which is why you will see a lot of mixed use developments in India, in Bangalore, that the same geography, it has a mall, it has an office, it has a multi-storied residential building. So you live 60 or 70% of your life's needs there. Now, if you want to do something more adventurous, like venturing into the traffic, then you go out. So that obviously is happening in the IT hubs. Like if you say things like HSR layout or electronic city, it's happening there, that you live close to work within 2 to 5 kilometers, commute quickly. Any area around a large tech park is becoming one of these new areas that you talked about. So there is an electronic city towards the south. There are other tech parks which are emerging towards the northern axis as it goes towards the airport. So that part, that Yelahanka, Hennur Road, which are all thoroughfares ultimately leading to the airport, that is becoming a sort of more and more in demand. From a metro connectivity point of view, what is happening is the Mysore Road, or for that matter, Kanakpura Road. These are places, it does not matter because metro is like the farthest metro point is probably 30 minutes and there's no traffic. It's a smooth ride, right? You can get in, read a book, listen to music, watch a movie, whatever, you can do it. So I see the Mysore Road, Kanakpura Road belts expanding because of the metro connectivity. So people are saying that, okay, I'll work a little away or I live a little far away from work because I know the metro timings are obviously much more predictable. So I see these are the two clusters of growth of micro markets in the Bangalore.
Interesting. And also talking about the memes, we in North India often said it's sometimes easier to go from Delhi to Bombay than traveling from Bangalore airport to the destination within Bangalore they want to reach. But be that as it may, coming back to the point on the role of startups and the IT sector, you did mention in one of the responses to a question that, startups have played a big role because people now have a significant corpus left with them and they're investing in real estate, also for tax considerations and also because it's an emotional issue, as you made. But on a more broader sense, if ITeS and the startup, that ecosystem wasn't there, the property market probably would have been very different. So what is the kind of significance would you attribute to the startup tech IT ecosystem in Bangalore's property market?
Interesting, and I'll try to answer this question a little away from the demand supply thing.
Correct.
See, Bangalore is the IT hub, so therefore there are people, there are good jobs, well-paying jobs. All of that are there. Bangalore is not called the Silicon Valley of India for nothing, because what happens is that along with I would call it maybe an idea. So let's say the adoption of gated community or the facilities that you want in a gated community, even at an entry-level gated community, significantly different, better, or the demand for that is significantly higher, I would say, in a Bangalore compared to other southern metros. Hyderabad to some extent is also like that. That I know what is the best that is, let's say, San Francisco has to offer, and I would want to have a sort of an approximation of that in my own cities. The demand is for reasons I mentioned earlier, but the type of demand or the nuance of the demand, that what kind of home will I want, what kind of facilities will I be happy with, those are things because of the internationalness or the globalness of the ITeS industry. Say the work from home or the hybrid home model, actually in Bangalore, even before COVID. Now, while there is a certain ask from the organizations or the companies to make people come back, that either either work from home, either in a permanent model or in a temporary model, is always there. So people are saying that the home office is a necessity. So therefore that 2.5 BHK, 3.5 BHK, it is not a full-fledged bedroom, but it is a decent size for it to be a study where you can take your meetings peacefully, work peacefully, create a sort of a sanctuary from, let's say, the usual hustle and bustle of a regular Indian household. I think we are seeing that trend a fair bit. I mean, it is reflecting in our sales, where we are seeing that, let's say, the higher configurations often sell out faster than the 2 and the 3 BHKs. So you could say that a mix of the high disposable income and job, that is one part, but the awareness of global trends and the general familiarity with the international working culture of work from home, temporary, otherwise, those 3-4 things are what it is driving the growth. And of course, I mean, I'm not getting into the ripple effect of ancillary industries and that. I mean, that is probably fueling the whole demand supply equation.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because you do point out very rightly so that Bangalore, described as India's Silicon Valley for a reason, because it's a very highly globally exposed community. And that is why their demands are far more, it's a very discerning set of buyers that you find in Bangalore's real estate is concerned. We have seen that in the buying behavior and also the demand patterns, not just of houses, but also in facilities, as you just mentioned.
Absolutely.
But that brings me to the next question. While property buying has the determinants of property buying slightly different from the determinants of trying to rent out a house, but the facilities of a rental behavior, rental market behavior broadly will also mirror what you're seeing in the property buying market, isn't it? In terms of facilities that people demand. So both in terms of rental prices and otherwise, in other aspects too, how do you see this shaping up, and what are the trends that you are spotting in Bengaluru?
See, rental trends are definitely increasing significantly faster than the rest of, if you say, other metros in Bangalore, for the reason. In a very short term level, a rental helps you create that inertia, because the same home would cost a lot more to own in terms of your monthly payout, etc. So obviously I would call it an inertia of rest for the rental, because people, partially for emotional, socio-cultural reasons, want to own a home. So it's like getting that I am here, I am happy, I really like this place, but I wish I could own this. So it's like the rental market is obviously increasing, but I see that as a stepping stone for people kind of taking the proverbial 5 steps back before they take the leap.
Tenants becoming tomorrow's potential buyers?
Yes, absolutely. I think what is happening is that the period of tenancy is a period of evaluation. That how long does it take if I live in area X and work in area Y? How long does it take for me to go? It is only 3 kilometers, but as we know in Bangalore, 3 kilometers mean nothing. 3 kilometers could mean 45 minutes one way also. So people are using that time to suss out the facilities that are there, the connectivity, the locations. Also, what is happening is that people's lifestyle changes, right? That today a young couple will become parents soon. So right now they might be wanting to stay center of town in a very buzzy place. But let's say 3 or 5 years from now, they would want to live in slightly outskirts. The classic city to suburb behavior that we see in a lot of American society, and maybe closer to a school. Or if you have elderly parents, you would probably want medical help at a manageable distance. So where is the rental market increasing? I would say that same places where the real estate, the capital market is increasing. The usual hotspots around IT parks, tech hubs,
but are rentals also following a similar pattern as prices in terms of growth rate?
They are kind of following each other. It wouldn't be an exact mirror, but they would be similarly directionally aligned.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, Dipto, obviously the bullishness is for there to see and prospects are seemingly very bright. So how is Casagrand taking advantage of it?
See, irrespective of the price point, we have price points starting from as low as 60-70 lakhs going up to upwards of 2 CR. But irrespective of the price points, our entire ethos is about offering unbeatable value. We say that the customer at whichever price point must get the best bouquet of offerings that a real estate product could potentially give. From which 3 things make maximum sense. The number one is location. People say the 3 things are location. In real estate, it's all about location. location. But what we believe is that if we are able to create the right balance between a very hot area, but if we can create a 10-minute radius and offer a significantly lower pricing, then it makes what is great value for the customers, right? That you stay a little away, but you get a significant benefit in terms of price. The second thing that we believe is very strongly is in a lifestyle upgrade. Right? A lifestyle upgrade would mean that, you are being at whatever price point, you actually have a significantly higher set of amenities or facilities that you would normally have. Because so therefore, again, what are the what is the family we are targeting? So if there are younger children, is there enough for a young child to do? For the health conscious family, the young people in, let's say, their 30s, 40s, etc., are becoming increasingly health conscious. So therefore, having a whole bouquet of the cluster of gyms and pools and all of that. Then comes the social amenities, that you want to meet people, you want to live in a building that would have similar minded people from similar backgrounds, people who gel with. So that whole social infrastructure of clubhouses and amphitheaters where you can maybe watch a match together and all of that. So those kind of things are very important. And the thirdly, I think it is all about having your own space, that people are in the aftermath of a forced lockdown. People are realizing that I need to have a little sanctuary of our own. So even in the confines of a 3 BHK, people want their own nook to kind of shut out. That private space is a thing. And what we are increasingly realizing is that if I am able to increase living space, I mean, this sounds very obvious, but that is actually we focus a lot on. That if I have a certain carpet area, by creating foyers and mud rooms and dressing areas or a slightly differently shaped bedroom, am I able to create those sort of a shut out zones which are extremely important for people today? So what as we keep on hearing that of 70-hour work weeks and 90-hour work weeks, we believe the location has to be great, because if you have to work 70 hours, you shouldn't waste any time in traffic. Then if you are working so hard, you need to have a place of relaxing, enjoying facility, which is a mix of greenery, health, fitness, all of that. And thirdly, when you are in your own home, it should be a sort of a sanctuary, and you should have these slightly expanded spaces which allow you to relax, recharge, and all of that. So these are the three things that we hold very dear and believe that offers best value to our customers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dipto, for sharing your deep insights and perspectives on a variety of issues. And thanks so much for taking the time out and dropping by to have this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So that's it from us for this episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com. If you're a pro or an investor or generally interested in knowing in what's bubbling inside India's real estate industry, this is the destination to be, where we keep it real always. This is Keeping It Real by Housing.com. You can catch the episode on Housing.com, on the Housing.com app, on the YouTube channel of Housing.com, on YT Music, on Spotify.com, on Earshot.in, on Apple Podcasts, on Geo7, and a host of other podcast streaming platforms and directories. Take care and stay safe.